In today's lesson, we shall be continuing on solving linear equations, but we shall be focusing on multiple steps equation. So stay focused and enjoy the lesson. All right, let's get started. Example 1. Solve the equation. Two negative parentheses negative 3a minus 8 close parenthesis equals 1. So the first thing we are going to do is to clear the parentheses. And please note that whenever you have a sign before the parentheses, consider it as, this is the negative sign, consider it as negative 1. So we are going to distribute this negative 1 into the content of the parentheses. In other words, we are going to multiply the content of the parentheses by negative 1. So distribute it into this and this. All right, so this automatically will become 2, and negative 1 times negative 3a becomes positive 3a. And negative 1 times negative 8 is positive 8. And this will be equals to 1. So now on the left side, we can combine like terms. And the like terms on the left side are positive 2 and positive 8. So if we combine these two like terms, we are going to have 10. Positive 2 plus 8 is 10. Okay, plus 3a equals 1. So now we are going to isolate 3a by moving 10 from the left side. So to do that, we are going to subtract 10 from both sides. So 10 minus 10 and 1 minus 10. So 10 minus 10 is 0, so we can simply strike this from here. And now we have 3a equals 1 minus 10. That's going to give you negative 9. So we have negative 9. And at this point, we can simply divide both sides by 3. Divide both sides by 3. And 3 will cancel 3 from here. 3 divided by 3 is 1. And negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. So final answer would be A equals negative 3. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next question. Example 2. Solve the equation. If we have 2 open parentheses, negative 3n plus 8 close parentheses equals negative 20. Now we have a number before the parentheses, so we can simply distribute this number into the content of the parentheses. So 2 times negative 3, that will give us negative 6n, and 2 times 8, that is 16, equals negative 20. So now we are going to isolate negative 6n by moving positive 16 from the left side. And we can do that by simply subtracting, because we have a positive 16, we have to subtract 16 from here in order to move it from here. So we subtract 16 from both sides. So positive 16 minus 16, and then we have negative 20 minus 16. And this automatically will give us 0. So now we have negative 6n equals negative 20, negative 16. We combine both of them, that's going to give us negative 36. So now we can divide both sides by negative 6. Divide both sides by negative 6. And, negative is going to cancel negative from here. 6 will cancel 6 from here. Negative will take negative from here. And 6 divided by 6 is 1. 36 divided by 6 is 6. So finally, n is equals 6. And this is the final answer to this question. I hope this is clear to you. All right, let's move on to the next question. Question 3. Solve the equation. Negative 5, open parenthesis, negative 4 plus 2v, close parenthesis, equals negative 50. So as usual, we can distribute negative 5 into the content of the parenthesis. So negative 5 times negative 4, that will give us positive 20. So this is 20. And negative 5 times positive 2v will give us negative 10v equals negative 50. So we are going to isolate negative 10v. You're going to keep this here and move 20 from the left side. And as you can see, this is positive 20. So we can move this from here by simply subtracting 20 from both sides. Minus 20. Minus 20. So this automatically is out. And we now have negative 10v on the left side equals negative 50, negative 20. This will give us negative 70. So we can now divide both sides by negative 10, which is the coefficient of v. Divide both sides by negative 10. Negative 10. So negative will cancel negative from here, and 10 into 10 is 1. 10 into 10 is 1. Okay, so on the right side, negative will cancel negative from here, and 10 divided by 10 is 1. 70 divided by 10 is 7. So now v is equals 7. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next question. Example 4. Solve the equation. 2, -8, -4 plus 3x equals 34. So the first step is to clear the parentheses, and please note that we have -8 just before the parentheses. This is -8 just before the parentheses. And to clear the parentheses, you are going to distribute this value into the content of the parentheses. Use this to multiply each term in the parentheses. So distribute it, and this will become 2. So -8 times -4, that will become positive 32. So -8 times positive 3x will give us -24x. And this is equals 34. All right, so let's combine like terms. We have 2 plus 32 over here, and 2 plus 32 will give us 34. So this will become 34 minus 24 x equals 34. So now we are going to isolate -24x. Just keep it on the left side, and move 34 from the left side. We are going to subtract 34 from both sides in order to move this from here. So minus 34 from both sides, and 34 minus 34 is 0, so this will be out. Also on the right side, 34 minus 34 is 0. So now we have -24 x equals 0. And by the time we divide by the coefficient of x, -24, -24. So negative is going to cancel negative from here. 24 will cancel 24. And 0 divided by -24 is 0. Any number divided by 0 is 0. So x is equals 0. So this is the answer to this question. I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's move on. So at this point, we are going to be taking some practice questions. And practice question. Practice questions. All right, solve the following equations. So number 1, we have 32 equals 2 minus 5, parentheses, minus 4n plus 6. So the first task is to clear the parentheses, but always consider the number or the sign closest to the parentheses. As you can see, we have -5 just before the parentheses. So we are going to distribute that into each term of the parentheses as we clear the parentheses. So this will become 32 equals to -5 times -4n will give us positive 20n. And negative 5 times positive 6 will give us negative 30. All right. So now let's combine like terms. We have positive 2 over here, and we have negative 30 over here. So if we combine these two numbers, what would be the answer? Positive 2 minus 30, that automatically will give us negative 28, negative 28. Okay, plus 20. And so now we are going to switch or move negative 28 from here to the left, and we can only do that by adding 28 to both sides because it is negative 28, so we can only add the opposite of this sign. Opposite of negative 28 is positive 28, so let's add it to both sides. So plus 28, and now we have negative 28 plus 28, which will give us 0, and 32 plus 28 would give us 60. Positive 60 equals positive 20n. So now we are going to divide both sides by the coefficient of n, which is 20. Divide both sides by 20. And 20 is going to cancel 20 from here. 20 divided by 20 is 1, and 60 divided by 20 is 3. Therefore, n is equal 3. And this is the answer to this question. I hope you are following. All right, let's go on. Number 2. If you have 0 equals negative 8, p minus 5, close parenthesis. The first thing we are going to do now is to distribute negative 8 into the content of the parenthesis. Use it to multiply each term, and 0 will be equals to negative 8p. And negative 8 times negative 5 will give us positive 40. So now we are going to subtract 40 from both sides. We have to, move 40 away from here to the other side so we can keep negative 8p on the right. So do that by subtracting 40 from both sides, minus 40, and positive 40 minus 40 is 0. Cancel this from here, and 0 minus 40 is negative 40, and this is equals negative 8p. So now divide both sides by the coefficient of p. So negative 8, negative 8, and negative, we'll cancel negative from here. 8 into 8 is 1, and 8 into 8 is 1. So negative will cancel negative from here. 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 40 divided by 8 is 5. Therefore, p is equals to 5, and this is the answer to this question. All right, let's go on. Question 3. If we have negative 55 equals 8 plus 7, open parenthesis, k minus 5 Now, the first thing is to clear the parentheses and always consider the number or the sign before the parentheses, which is positive 7. Use it to multiply each term of the parentheses, and this will become negative 55 equals 8, and 7 times k will give you positive 7k, and positive 7 times negative 5 will give us negative 35. All right, now let's combine like terms. We have positive 8 here and we have negative 35 here. So if we combine these two terms, they have different sign, positive 8, negative 35. So combine both of them, and then we're going to have 27, negative 27. So negative 27 plus 7k, negative 27 and not negative 25, negative 27. All right, corrected. And we are going to, subtract or move negative 27 from the right side by adding 27 to both sides. Add 27 to both sides. So negative 27 plus 27 is 0. So now we have negative 55 plus 27. So automatically this is going to give us negative 30, 28. So this will give us negative 28 equals 7k. So now let's divide both sides by the coefficient of k. So divide both sides by 7, and 7 is going to cancel 7 from here. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and negative 28 divided by 7 is negative 4. So k is equals to negative 4, and that is the answer to this question. I hope this is clear. All right, let's go on. Move on to the next one. So this is question 4. If you have negative 21x plus 12 equals negative 6, negative 3x. Now we are going to combine like terms. We have x on both sides, so we have negative 21x on the left side, we have negative 3x on the right side. We can decide to move any of them, either move negative 21x to the right or move negative 3x to the left. All right, so let's move negative 3x to the left. So we can only do that by adding the opposite of negative 3x to it. So the opposite of negative 3x is positive 3x. All right, add that to both sides, plus 3x. So negative 3x plus 3x is 0. Just strike it from here. And now we have negative 21x plus 3x, which is negative 18x plus 12 equals negative 6. So now we can move positive 12 from here by subtracting 12 from both sides. minus 12. Okay, so plus 12 minus 12 is 0, so this is out. And now we have negative 18x on the left side, and negative 6, negative 12 will give us negative 18. So we can simply divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is negative 18. So negative 18 and negative, we cancel negative from here, and 18, we cancel 18 from here. Negative, we cancel negative, and 18 divided by 18 is 1. Therefore, x is equals to 1. So this is the answer to this question. All right, let's go on. Question 5. If you have negative 3n, negative 27 equals negative 27, negative 3n. So we have negative 3n on the left side. We also have it on the right side. So we can simply add 3n to both sides. So plus 3n and plus 3n. That, of course, is going to give us 0. So over here is 0, and on the right side is 0. So now we have negative 27 is equals to negative 27. Yes, this is true. Negative 27 is actually equals to negative 27. So anytime you are solving an equation and you arrive at a situation right like this, all you have to do is to let us know that this equation, the solution to this equation, is all real numbers. The solution is all real numbers, or you can also write it as infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Once you arrive at a question like at the a solution like this, you should know that it is all real numbers or infinitely many solutions. For example, if you arrive at 5 is equals to 5, or 10 is equals to 10, okay, all real numbers are infinitely many solutions. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. If we have question 6, 4 plus 3x equals negative 12x plus 4. So now we can just subtract 4 from both sides. Subtract 4 from both sides. And positive 4 minus 4 is 0. So now we have 3x is equals negative 12x. So now we can either add 12x to both sides or subtract 3x from both sides. Yes, choose one of them. So let's add 12 to both sides. Add 12x to both sides. So now negative 12x plus 12x is 0. and 3x plus 12x will give you 15x equals 0. So now divide both sides by 15, and 15 is going to cancel 15 from here, and 0 divided by any number is 0, therefore x is equals to 0. So this is the answer to this question. All right. Let's take another question. Question 7. If you have negative 8n minus 19 is equals to negative 2, open parenthesis, 8n minus 3 plus 3n. So the first thing is to clear the parentheses, and we do that by distributing negative 2 into each term of the parentheses. So this will become negative 8n. Negative 19 is equal to negative 8 times 8n will give us negative 16n. Negative 2 times negative 3 will give us positive 6 plus 3n. So now we can combine like terms. We have negative 16n, and we also have positive 3n. If you combine both of them, so this will become negative 8n, negative 19 is equals to, so negative 16n plus 3n will give us negative 13n, okay, plus 6. So now we have the n term on both sides. So you can see we have negative 8n on the left side, and we also have negative 13n on the right side. So we can choose to move anyone, either to move negative 8n or to move negative 13n. All right, but now let's move negative 13n to the left side by adding negative 13 by adding 13n to both sides. So plus. So let's add 13n to both sides. Plus 13n plus 13n. So negative 13n plus 13n is already out. That gives us 0. And negative 8n plus 13n will give us positive 5n. So we have 5n minus 19 equals to 6. Now we have to get rid of negative 19 from here. And we can do that by simply adding. Let's add 19 to both sides. Plus 19 to both sides. And negative 19 plus 19 is 0. Strike from there. And we now have 5n equals 6 plus 19, which is 25. Now divide both sides by the coefficient of n, which is 5. So divide by 5. By 5. So this will strike this from here. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So n is equals to 5. So this is the answer to this question. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Question 8. Question 8. So if you have 16 equals to negative 5, open parenthesis, 1 minus 6x, close parenthesis, plus 3, open parenthesis, 6x, plus 7, close parenthesis. So The first thing is to clear the parentheses and do that by distributing all the values before the brackets. Distribute this and also distribute positive 3 into each term of the parentheses. So this will become 16 equals to negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. Negative 5 times negative 6x is positive 30x plus 3 times 6x will give us plus 18x plus 3 times plus 7 give us plus 21. So now we can combine all the terms on the right side. So we have 30x plus 18x. So that's going to give us, if we combine both of them, that will become 48. That will become 48. So this will be equals to negative 5 plus 21 plus 48x. So we have 16 is equals to that. So let's also combine negative 5 and 21. So this will become 16 is equals to 16. 16 is equals to positive 16 plus 48x. So now we can subtract 16 from both sides. Subtract 16 from both sides. And this will cancel to give you 0. This will cancel to give you 0. So now 0 is equals to 48x. So now divide both sides by 48. And 48 will cancel 48 from here. And 0 divided by 48 is 0. So x is now equals to 0. So this is the answer to this question. And I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next one. Question 10. Seven equals to 4 open parentheses n minus 7 plus 5 open parentheses 7n plus 7. Now to solve this question, first we have to clear the parentheses, and we can do that by distributing this 4 into the content of the parentheses, and also we are going to distribute a plus 5 into each term of the parentheses, and this will become 7 equals to 4 times n is 4n, and 4 times negative 7, negative 28, and 5 times 7 plus 35, and 5 times 7 is 35. So now we can combine like terms on the right side, and as you can see, we have 4n over here, and also we have positive 35n. So if you combine both of them, that automatically is going to give us 39n. So we have 39n. Also, we can combine the values without n. And you can say we have negative 28 and plus 35. So if you combine these two terms, negative 28 plus 35, that will give us 7. So plus 7. So now we can isolate 39n by eliminating 7 from here, plus 7 from here. So this is positive 7. So to remove this from here, we can only do that by subtracting 7 from both sides. Subtract 7 from both sides. and plus 7 minus 7 is 0. So this becomes 0. Also on the left side, 7 minus 7 is 0. So you can as well strike it from here. Now we have 0 is equals to 39n. So we can now divide both sides by the coefficient of n. Now 39 divided by 39 is 1. And 0 divided by 39 is 0. So automatically n is equals 0. So this is the answer to this question. And I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on to the next question. Question 11. If you have negative 8, open parenthesis, 6 plus 6x close parenthesis plus 4 negative 3 plus 6x close parenthesis equals negative 12. As usual, we have to clear the parentheses. That is the first step. So we can do that by distributing negative 8 into the content of the parentheses, and also distribute positive 4 into the second parenthesis. So negative 8 times 6 would give us negative 48, and negative 8 times positive 6x will give us negative 48x. Also, 4 times negative 3 will give us negative 12, and 4 times positive 6x will give us plus 24x, and this is equals to negative 12. So now we can combine like terms on the left side. And if we combine the values without x, such as negative 48x and also negative 12, if you combine these two values, this will give us negative 60. So we have negative 60. And also let's combine all the values, all the terms with x. So we have negative 8, negative 48x here, and we have plus 24x. So if we combine these two terms, negative 48x plus 24x, that will give us negative 24x. So negative 24x equals to negative 12. I hope you are familiar with addition and subtraction of positive and negative terms. So once you are familiar with that, it becomes very easy for you to deal with. So now we are going to isolate negative 24x. In other words, we are going to keep negative 24x here and eliminate negative 60 from here. So to remove negative 60 from here, we only need to add the opposite of negative 60, and the opposite of negative 60 is positive 60. So add that to both sides. 60, and negative 60 plus 60 is 0. So this will go out. So now we are left with negative 24x equals to negative 12. plus 60. In other words, 60 minus 12. This will give us 48. So now, let's divide both sides by the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is negative 24. So this is negative 24. Divide both sides by negative 24. Negative will cancel negative from here. And 4 will cancel 4 from 24. We cancel 24 from here. And 24 into 24 is 1. And 48 divided by 24 is 2. So this would be equals to 2 over negative 1. And 2 divided by negative 1 is negative 2. So your answer is negative 2. Therefore, x is equals negative 2. And this is the answer to this question. I hope it makes some sense. All right, let's go on. Question 12. If you have negative 4, 1 plus a, close parenthesis, equals to 2a minus 8, open parenthesis, 5 plus 3a. Remember, the first step is to clear the parentheses. So the values before the parentheses, just distribute that into the content of the parentheses. On the right side, we have negative 8 before the parentheses. Use that to multiply each term of the parentheses. So negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. And negative 4 times a is plus 4a. And this is equals to 2a. Now, negative 8 times 5 is negative 40. And negative 8 times positive 3a will give us negative 24a. So on the right side, we can combine like terms. We have positive 2a here, and we have negative 24a here. So if you combine these two terms, then we are going to have negative 4 plus 4a equals to 2a minus 24a will give us negative 22a. And then we have negative 40 over here. So now we have a on both sides. So we have 4a, positive 4a over here. And we also have negative 22a on the right side. So we can decide to switch any of them, either to subtract 4a from both sides or add 22a to both sides. Any of them can work. All right. So let's now add 22a to both sides. Like I said, any of them works. So plus 22a plus 22a. So negative 22a plus 22a we cancel, and we now have negative 4. So plus 4a plus 22a will give us plus 26a equals to negative 40. So now we can isolate 26a and just eliminate negative 4 from the left side, and we can achieve that by adding 4 to both sides. Add 4 to both sides, and negative 4 plus 4 we just cancel from here, and we now have 26a. 26a on the left side, and this is equals to negative 40 plus 40, not 40, sorry, there is an error here, it ought to be 4, not 40. So plus 4, because we added 4 to both sides. As you can see it here, we added 4 to both sides. We added 4 to both sides. So negative 40 plus 4 will give us negative 36. So now we can divide both sides by 26. Divide both sides by 26. And 26 is going to cancel 26 from here. We can simplify the right side. Let's divide through by 2 into this. 26 divided by 2 is 13, and 36 divided by 2 is 18. So now a equals negative 18 over 13, which can be converted to this fraction. But you can still leave your answer at this point, but if you wish to convert to mixed fraction, you go one more step. So negative 18 or negative one whole number, 5 over 13. So this is the answer to this question, and I hope it is clear to you. All right, let's go on. Next one, question 13. If we have negative 6 x minus 3 plus 5 equals negative 2, negative 5, open parenthesis, x minus 5. Remember, the first step is to clear the parentheses and distribute this. And over here, you have negative 5 before the parentheses. Distribute that. So now we have negative 6x, and negative 6 times negative 3 will give us positive 18. Remember, we are positive 5 here. Just write it here, plus 5 equals negative 2. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times positive, negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Okay, on the right side, we can combine like terms. So the term without x, negative 2, and positive 25, we can combine both of them. And on the left side, we also have the terms without x, plus 18 plus 5. So let's combine these terms. So negative 6x, so plus 18 plus 5 will give us plus 23. That is it for the left side. And on the right side, negative 2 plus 25 will give us plus 23. So plus 23 minus 5x. So now we can subtract 23 from both sides. So negative 23, negative 23. So plus 23 minus 23 is 0. You can strike it off. The same for this. So we now have negative 6x equals negative 5x. So we can add any of them to both sides. Either you add negative 6x to both sides or you add negative 5x to both sides. But let's add 5x to both sides. So you can either add 6x to both sides or 5x to both sides. Okay, so let's add 5x to both sides. Plus 5x. So this is out. And negative 6x plus 5x is negative 1x, which can be written as negative x, equals 0. So you can see this as negative 1x, and so you divide both sides by the coefficient of x, which is negative 1. Divide both sides by negative 1. So negative is going to cancel negative from here. And 0 divided by negative 1 is 0. So x is equals to 0. So this is the answer to this question. I hope it makes some sense. Let's keep going. Question 14. Negative 6 x minus 3 . Okay, we have just attended to this question, so if we have negative, open parenthesis, n plus 8 plus n equals negative 8n plus 2. 4n minus 4. So now you can see we have a negative sign before the parenthesis. So see that as negative 1 and simply distribute that into the content of the parenthesis. So negative 1 times n, that gives us negative n. Negative 1 times positive 8 will give us negative 8 plus n equals negative 8n. So we also have positive 2n before the parenthesis. So simply distribute that. So this will give us 2 times 4n plus 8n and 2 times negative 4, negative 8. So now we can combine like terms. Negative 8n plus 8n, and also we have negative n and positive n. on the left side. So negative n plus n is 0. So we have negative 8 only on the left side. And negative 8n plus 8n is 0. So we also have negative 8 on the right. So anytime you have this kind of answer, the same answer on both sides, as it is, if you decide to subtract 8 from both sides, you end up with 0 is equals to 0. Okay, but you can choose to leave it the way it is. So my emphasis is that anytime you solve a problem and you have the answer on the left is equals to the answer on the right. Let's say you solve a problem and you have 10 is equals 10, or you have 5 or 2 is equals 2, or 5 is equals 5, 0 equals 0. Anytime you solve a problem and you arrive at this, you simply write this as your answer. The solution is all real numbers. All real numbers. Okay, or you can simply say infinitely many solutions. So this is the answer to this question. All real numbers or infinitely many solutions. All right, let's go on. Question 15, and I hope this will be the last question for today. If you have negative 5, x plus 7 equals 4, negative 8, x negative 2. Distribute negative 5 into the first parenthesis. Distribute this into this. And 4 into this. So we have negative 5x. Negative 5 times positive 7 is negative 35 equals 4 times negative 8x is negative 32x. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. So now you can see we have x on both sides. This is negative 5x and this is negative 32x. So now we can add 32x to both sides or add 5x to both sides. Any of them works. So now let's add 32 to both sides. This is negative 32x, so you add the opposite of that to both sides. So plus 32x plus 32x. Negative 32x plus 32x is 0. Strike that from here. And negative 5x plus 32x is 27. x, positive 27x. So we have negative 35 equals negative 8. So now we can isolate negative 20. We can isolate 27x by subtracting or by adding 35 to both sides. So plus 35 plus 35. Negative 35 plus 35 is 0. Strike this from here. And 27x is equals to negative 8 plus 35. And this, of course, will give us 27. So now divide both sides by the coefficient of x. So 27. So 27 is going to cancel 27 from here. And 27 divided by 27 is 1. Therefore, x is equals to 1. So this is the answer to this question. I hope this makes some sense. All right, so if you find this video useful, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like the video, share the link with your friends, and also click on the notification bell. Thank you very much for your support. Looking forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye-bye.